Hello again, people. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico, and more specifically this week in the county of Valencia. Yes, people, we are continuing our quest to buy up every parcel of land in the county of Valencia, and this week we've got a really good one. As you can see, it says here in this kind of built-up residential region, hard to find land in an area like this, particularly at the price that we're selling it at. Additionally, as you can tell from the headline here, guys, it's a corner lot, more specifically a large corner lot. How large? 5 times the size of all of these parcels that you see out here, which of course makes it ideal for anybody who wants to come in, buy up the land, chop it up, subdivide, and resell for a profit. It's a good investor property. Additionally, as you can tell from the headline, power at the lot line. What is not written in the headline is the fact that this property has no covenants, no restrictions, no HOA, and no annual dues, which of course means that beyond the annual taxes owed to Valencia County every fall, you will have no financial burden with the property. Should be noted, guys, that Valencia is a county not without its zoning restrictions. This property is zoned RR1, which to me does not mean a whole lot. I think it's pretty wide open to possibilities. That being said, we will get into that later in today's video. For now, however, let's begin with the intro. This is reference number VLNM-6282, located as noted in Valencia County. This is in the El Cerro Mission Ranchette subdivision, and it is a whopping 5 acres. And as noted, guys, the 5 acres, of course, doesn't sound all that large until you realize that all the properties around it are a mere 1 acre. So this is a large chunk of land we managed to find out there. As you saw up top, guys, this one is priced at $39,000, which is pretty affordable for 5-acre chunks in this built-up residential region. Hey, I know. Let's stop staring at the website and go to the map. We got GPS coordinates down here, guys. Click any one of them, and through the magic of the internet, voila, the Google Maps shall appear. So, for those of you unfamiliar with the basic geography, Albuquerque, population center of the state, is up here just about 20 minutes north of the subject property down here in Valencia County. In fact, if you right-click and measure distance, you will see that Google Maps backs me up on that. About 20 miles south. Of course, most of that is here on the I-25, so you're doing about 75, 80 miles an hour. Provided there's not too much traffic, you should be able to cover that ground in about 15, 20 minutes, let's speculate. Anywho, it should be noted, guys, the property sits right here outside of Los Lunas. Los Lunas, of course, we have photos of population 16,000, give or take. This, of course, is a built-up area. You've got a lot of the population overflow from Albuquerque that's starting to move down here, starting to build up out here. I'm pausing on the Rail Runner train station photo, of course, because if you do not like to drive, if you do not want the morning traffic going back and forth to Albuquerque, you should be aware that the Rail Runner train over here, you could take it from all the way south in Belen to all the way north to Santa Fe, making numerous stops along the way, including Albuquerque. Anywho, of course, out here we also have all the amenities that you will need if you elect to start living out here. Medical care, Walmarts. We got a Walmart, guys. We can't do a video without shilling for Walmart, and Home Depot, of course. If you do elect to develop this property, you will have access to hammers and nails, Phillips screwdrivers, plywood, whatever I don't know, whatever people use to build things, you can buy it here. That's the point, just down the street from the property. Grocery stores, pharmacies, so on and so forth, all out here in this region. Additionally, the Dollar General store is just about 2 blocks from the subject property. We'll return to that in a bit, though, guys. Let me go back to the map here and just show you that as we zoom in here, particularly as we go to satellite view, you can see that with the Rio Grande sitting right here, you've got a concentration of population down here. As I mentioned earlier, you've got a lot of people who are starting to move down here from Albuquerque, or rather Albuquerque is starting to expand southward, we will say. Expands northwest into Rio Rancho, it expands south into Valencia County. Point is, there's a good amount of population that's growing out here. This is the aforementioned Walmart that I was pointing out earlier. I'll spare you the rest of the stores, but the point is that the subject property sits over here, really just right outside of this dense concentration of population in this El Cerro Mission Ranchette subdivision. And as you can see right here, just off the Manzano Expressway, is where you will find this property. Now, helpfully, strangely enough, the satellite view just happened to line up with the sun that day, and the sun is pretty well outlining the shape of this property, the footprint of this property. It is this corner lot sitting right here along Sostino Chavez and Turbo Road. This is the property right here. In case you don't believe me about the size, shape, and location of this lot, let me direct your attention, people. Move your eyeballs up here. Google Earth photo imagery of the exact footprint of the property. Additionally, of course, we also have, I was going to say we have a plat map. We don't have a plat map, so sorry about that one, guys. Normally we get those. This tells me that the county was out of plat maps. Whatever the case, back to the map, this is where the property is located, and down here at this corner right here, you can see that there is power running this way along Turbo Road. So power, of course, at the lot line. Of course, you've also got many built-up home sites in this region, including on the neighboring parcels where there is power and utilities running to all of these properties. Ooh, I know. Let's go back to the photos. So, as noted, guys, the Dollar General store is about, a half a mile from the subject property. Here's the property over here. Here's Dollar General. There you go. Additionally, as we go through the gallery, we've got the Manzano Vista Fire Department, roughly about a mile and a half from the subject property, so not too far away if anything goes pear-shaped on the land. And these are some of the nearby developed home sites that you will see out here in this kind of, built-up little residential region that we've got here. Now, this right here is the intersection of the subject property, Sestino Chavez and Turbo Road. You've got paved roads mostly right until you get out to this little part of the subdivision. So Manzano Expressway paved, and then I guess here's where the dirt roads start. Nonetheless, as you can see, these are pretty well-maintained dirt gravel roads. You're going to be able to navigate this in any vehicle type. And additionally, as we go through the photos here, you can see exactly what this road frontage is like. And you can also see, power at the lot line right there. This, of course, we like to mention because it means that it should not be too difficult or expensive to develop the home site, to get power extended to it, to get connected to the grid. As you can imagine, all of the other nearby homes are connected to the grid as well. We can see some of those homes here in this photo, etc. Now, I will caution you guys that the photo gallery here gets a little visually redundant. There's only so much, so many photos you could take of a vacant, flat piece of land. Nonetheless, we do get the sense that this is a nice flat piece of land, easy to build on, easy to develop. You're not going to have to do too much excavating, too much landscaping to begin to park or build whatever you want on the property. So I'll skip past all the photos here, guys. I'll let you peruse these on your own time. I will, however, take you down here to the drone overhead shots in which we could see not only the footprint of the property yet again, but also just how kind of built up this region is. You're really out here just on the cusp of where all this development has sort of concluded, and I guess where it's picking up. So this is an area that presumably you're going to see more building out here, more construction, and hence probably property values appreciating pretty quickly over the next 10 years, I would assume. Anyway, as you go through this, you can see more of the footprint and more of really just the surrounding regions and exactly how developed this area is. Again, guys, I will let you cover that one on your own time. That said, we will have a drone video down here at the bottom of the page. Now, with all that said, guys, let's talk about what I mentioned early on in the video about there being no covenants, no restrictions, so on and so forth. So, again, the name of the subdivision is the El Cerro Mission Ranchettes. I may have misidentified that earlier. El Cerro Mission Ranchettes. No recorded covenants or restrictions with the subdivision. That being said, Valencia County, as I noted, does have a zoning ordinance. This area is defined as Rural Residential 1, RR1. And in case you have no idea what that is, we have this helpful link right here, which if you click it, will bring up an excerpt from the Valencia County Zoning Ordinance PDF. So RR1 is a pretty, this actually gets a little more detailed than what you will find with most county zoning ordinances. It goes into a little more detail than what we normally see. So I think you can get a pretty good sense from this as to what you can and cannot do. It should be noted, because we get this question all the time down here, recreational vehicles, RVs, shall not be used as primary residences in this region. Of course, that being said, if you do have a building permit, if you are building a permanent dwelling, a permanent domicile, they do expect that you have to live out of something while you're doing that, so that is the only case in which RVs would be permitted out here. Whatever the case, this will give you some sense of what you can do out here. Mobile homes, modular homes, any kind of SFR really is acceptable in this region. Additionally, guys, if you are scouting the property, I would say just kind of drive around the neighborhood. You're going to get a sense of what all your neighbors have done. Gives you a pretty good idea of what you will be able to use the land for or how you can develop it. Just going to the satellite map right here, we can see some mobile homes out here. We can see what look to be some kind of nicer SFRs, single-family residence, etc. But nonetheless, that's what you can do out there. Anyway, back to this for a second, guys. It should be noted, of course, that there is no HOA in this region. I mentioned that earlier. Of course, we always like to drive that home with people, particularly when you're looking at a built-up residential area like this. People always assume that there are some additional rules or some organizations that's got together to tell them what they can and cannot do. That is not the case in this subdivision. Should be noted, guys, when we're talking about utilities, PNM is the power company that services this region. Click this link. It'll take you to their website. They, of course, it's an excellent idea to, if you're going to develop the property, reach out to these entities in advance, local power company, local utility companies, and ask them, inquire with them if you want to get a sense of cost, of logistics, exactly what it costs to get connected to the grid, what it costs to get power on the lot. Give them a call, say, hey, I'm looking to buy some land. You've got power at my property boundary. What is this going to cost me? They can direct you better on that. That being said, my guess is if you're buying a roughly $40,000 property, you're probably not too worried about that cost, and your contractor is going to deal with it more than you will. Anywho, also want to point out, guys, so this is a little thing that I find curious. So we have two notations about it down here in the table. As I have now pointed out umpteen many times in this video, there's a lot of home sites out here. This is a pretty built-up little region right here. And logic would dictate that all these many one-acre parcels do not all have wells. Logic would dictate there is some kind of city utility out here, some kind of water company that services this region. My research on this, however, has been inconclusive. I find some that say yes, I find some that say no. So I would encourage you guys, if this is a property that you are going to develop, look into this. We have some links here: Los Lunas Water, New Mexico Water, and the Monterey Water Company. All these links will take you to their respective websites where you can kind of call them and talk to them more. Generally speaking, when we try to do this research, it's a little difficult when you're trying to just get some, basic sense of, hey, do you cover these, roughly 20 miles of territory with water service? You really have to hone in on a specific parcel, and then you have to get the right person on the phone who's kind of informed about this process. So again, I would think, when you see this many built-up home sites, there's probably some kind of water service in this region. That being said, if there's not, guys, as always, we do have the links to the Office of the State Engineer. Click this link, it'll take you to their website. This, of course, is the entity in New Mexico that is responsible for all water rights, well drilling permits, so on and so forth. So if you are going to develop the land, you want to get water to it, you want to drill a well out there, this is going to be the government entity that you speak with. Keep in mind, guys, if you have questions about water table depth, it's always best to kind of reach out to local well drillers. They can instruct you better on that. I would tell you that some of that information can be found on this website. If you really dig around, you can find it. That said, they don't make it easy. It's not the world's most intuitive website to kind of find that information and to decipher its meaning. But local well drillers are usually pretty informed about that. If you call them up, say, hey, I'm looking to buy some land in such and such subdivision, what is the water table like out there? How far down am I going to have to drill? What's it going to cost on a per foot basis of drilling? They can instruct you better on that. Anywho, finally, guys, I do want to say if this is a property that you're interested in, it bears mentioning that, particularly from an investment standpoint, it bears mentioning that as far as subdivision goes, particularly in this RR1 district, and you can find this enumerated in this PDF, Valencia County allows for no less than a 1-acre property out here. So if you've got 5 acres, of course, you could chop this up into 5 1-acre parcels. You don't even really need to worry about the legal easement so much because you've got the road access here along 2 sides. So that'll be sort of built into whatever you're chopping up out here. If you draw 5, rectangular parcels, rectangular 1-acre parcels, you should be able to resell all those and make not only your money back, but also a nice profit on that. So something to keep in mind, particularly if you are coming at this from an investment standpoint. With all that said, guys, this is a property we closed on through New Mexico Land and Title, which means we got title insurance on it, which means we will be providing you with a warranty deed. If you are interested in this, just come down here, click the Buy Now button. It'll take you to this secure checkout page where we ask for a, let me emphasize, non-refundable earnest money deposit. One more time, non-refundable $500 earnest money deposit. Basically, the way this works, guys, is we're looking for a buyer to show us that they're serious, to put down $500, kick off the process, give us legal name for deed, tax address, so on and so forth, agree to the terms of service, and on the very next page, you can enter credit or debit card information to place that non-refundable $500 earnest money deposit. We will then get you a contract within 24 hours. Sale purchase agreement, you sign it, we sign it, we'll submit it to the title company, and they will do the rest. If you are unfamiliar with this process, if you've never purchased land before, if I went too fast, come down here to our notes about purchasing. We're going to link you up here to our How It Works Buying From Us page. That'll take you here where you could read more about the process. For a property in this price range, we recommend this type of closing, this title escrow closing, for a variety of reasons. Title insurance is going to be an important thing for you, the buyer, so you're going to want that with the property. So this kind of reiterates what I just went through. Put down the money, we draft a contract, we open escrow, so on and so forth. But if you want to get a sense number one of what that contract looks like that we're going to ask you to sign. You can click this link right here. It'll take you to a generic version of one of our standard sale purchase agreements. Pretty self-explanatory. One page for signatures. But if you got an attorney, you want to review this, be our guest. It should also be noted, guys, that on this page we have a link to something called our Title Escrow Frequently Asked Questions page. A lot of times we have entered into these escrow situations with buyers who were not incredibly familiar with the process, so we devised this page here to kind of better walk you through, answer any conceivable question you might have about the process, about how much it costs and how long it takes and what are the benefits and what are the, quote-unquote drawbacks, so on and so forth. But a page that really weighs the pros and cons for you, the potential buyer. As noted, we recommend this. We recommend it for a number of reasons, not only title insurance, but if you are at all skeptical about buying land online, you have the added benefit of a third-party intermediary to kind of handle your money as well as the conveyance of the property. We don't touch your remaining $38,500 until such a time as the land is in your name, and that, of course, provides an immeasurable amount of peace of mind for you, the potential buyer. With all of that said, people, this one was a quick video this time simply because there is not a lot of restriction involved with this property, not a lot of covenants, not a lot of HOA, etc. So just the basic RR zoning out here in a really nice region. I also think this property kind of sells itself because of its location, because of the development around it. As I said, price, likely to appreciate in the next couple of years, particularly as the population grows out here. And even if you're not looking to develop the land, you always have the option of subdividing and reselling the property. Again, I think it is rife with potential for that. So, with all that said, guys, thanks as always for your attention spans, and we will see you in the next video.